Hi Scorpio, welcome back to the Tarot D33 channel. This is your May 2023 tarot reading. Thanks to those of you who have liked, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, it's a Celtic Coral spread as always, and I also pulled the 4 agreements, wisdom, oracle, and Mudra card for you guys. We're actually going to start the reading off by rolling those astrology guys we have in front of us to get an idea of where your folks should be as far as that goes. Alright, we have a mess, but aside from that, we have Virgo, and that's actually your 11th house of friendships, groups, hopes, and wishes. And astrologically speaking, not anything going on there quite yet, but of course, it could just be focused on an area of life for you guys anyway. All right, we have the sun, and of course, for the first few weeks of May, we're going to have the sun in Taurus, which is your opposite sign of friendships, partnerships, contracts. Excuse me, not friendships, relationships, partnerships, contracts, and it'll move into Gemini around the 3rd week of May, and that's 8th house energy for you guys, which points to death, intimacy, rebirth, investments. And we have 3. So 3rd house energy for you guys is actually Capricorn. We had heavy energies there for quite some time, right? Actually, Pluto's starting to retrograde right around the start of May, and it's going to be backtracking back toward Capricorn. But so you might feel some heaviness there when it comes to communicating, siblings, short journeys, and let me see what else comes to mind with this. Yeah, that's pretty much it there. All right, so before that, we'll get started with the main spread. So speaking of the sun, which came up in the dice, we also see it in the main situation position in your spread, and then challenging that we have the 2 of Pentacles, which is Capricorn energy. So I could just be saying that you might be feeling a nudge to be a bit more light and playful this month, right? But for whatever reason, you could feel a little bit of heaviness around that. So again, like we said, Capricorn energy is 3rd house communication for you guys, which we saw come up there, right? So maybe you feel a certain bit of heaviness around communication. Maybe you feel like you have something serious that you want to say, right? But maybe the environment around you is a lot more light and playful, so you could be holding back on saying that serious thing, right? Like, oh, okay, I don't want to necessarily kill the mood by saying this thing that I have that I feel inside, right? So it could just be one of those things where you're holding back because you feel like it might take away from this bright, vibrant atmosphere around you. And I mean, it makes sense. I mean, we're going to have the Mercury retrograde starting up in a couple of days here, which is going to be in your opposite sign, right? So again, how you relate with others. And eclipse season, obviously, right? We're going to have the full moon eclipse in your sign, so you might just be feeling a lot more heavy energies than some of the signs around you might be feeling. All right, in the foundation position, we have Justice. So, I mean, underlying all that, it looks like at least you definitely do seem to have good intentions behind you, right? Where maybe you're, again, like I said, let's say if you're feeling a little bit down, but everyone around you is in a lot more of a party type atmosphere, and you're like, oh, I don't want to necessarily drag down the people around me, right, because of how I'm feeling. So you could just be really thinking about others and the decision making that you have right now. So, all right, just a super generic example, right? Maybe, let's say your friends invite you on this really cool trip, right? And you're like, oh, yeah, I don't know if I really have the money for that, right? But you're like, I don't want to drag the mood down and let them know that, right? So it could just be one of those types of dynamics there where, again, people around you might be in a lot more light, playful energy, but you're feeling a little bit more heaviness. And that would make sense to you, given that, like we said, we saw the Virgo energy, which points to your friendships, the groups you deal with. All right, in the past position, we have the 8 of Wands. So at the very least, this could be an indicator that you might have gone through a phase where you were doing a lot of things, right? So maybe that's even part of it too, right? Where people, if they've just gotten accustomed to you always being down to do this, that, and the other, right? Now they come forward to you again with it. Like, yeah, I kind of know that that's kind of how I built up a reputation, right? Like, oh yeah, I'm always down to this, that, and the other. But now you might feel like withdrawing a little bit, but you're like, oh, well, how would that affect the group, right? So that could be how it's playing for some of you. And of course, this can be financially related too, right? Because if you went through a cycle, let's say, of overspending, right? Given that Sagittarius energy points to your 2nd house of finances. And now, because of that overspending, you might have to tone it down a little bit. That could be what's at play there. Why maybe part of you does want to do it, but you're like, it'd be a bit irresponsible for me to do it at this time. All right, in the present position, we have the Hanged Man. So yeah, this is an indicator for sure that, again, like I said, it feels like you're really trying to incorporate others into your decision making right now, right? And maybe this is even part of why you are feeling withdrawn, right? Maybe you've really just been getting these insights around the situation and you're trying to come to terms with what it's trying to teach you. And you might feel like doing those, regular everyday things might be a bit more of a distraction from that cycle for you. So you just might not be feeling the energy to put toward that. All right. And in your future position, we have the Five of Pentacles. So to me, this is an indicator that I feel like you really are just going to keep feeling that pull and that nudge to come out and communicate whatever this is, right? So like I said, whether you tell them, hey, I can't make the trip, or if there's something heavy that you've been holding on to that you want to express to someone, but you're like, I don't want to kill the mood for them, right? I feel like this is saying that the longer you let that go on, you're just going to feel more and more isolated, right? Even if you're around those same people because you're holding it back. So again, like I said, it's understandable that you could be feeling that given the retrograde energy we were talking about, eclipse energy we're talking about. So if it's a temporary thing, like if you just feel these feelings come on suddenly, then yeah, maybe it's best to ride it out and wait until we get a little bit later into May to express yourself. But if this is something that's really been, that you've been holding in for a long time, then on the flip side of that, I feel like this would be the right time to say it, right? Because it's like, okay, now you're feeling this energy bubble up for that reason. So you would know what fits better for you, right? If it's a long-term thing that you've been holding back for a long time, it might be best to express it. If it's temporary, if it's just popped up recently, chances are it's more of a temporary feeling that'll ride itself out of the energies as we get later into May. All right, in the position of your influence in a situation, we have the Page of Cups. So yeah, what I get with this card sometimes, and I'm feeling it here given what we were just talking about, is I think of that old saying, a fish out of water, right? So that could be how you're feeling right now for whatever reason. Because like I said, maybe you're going through something heavy, given that we see the hangman energy, the Five Pentacles in the near future, right? Maybe you've just been going through a bit of heavier energy. And, with these eclipse energies bubbling up to the surface, maybe you're still processing that. And in the process, you might feel like you're not even really fully incorporating all these things yet. So as you go about your day to day, you might just feel like you're out of sorts a little bit. So, and I do have to say, and we'll talk about it as I pull up the card in the environment here. In the environment position, we have the King of Pentacles, right? So it could just be, again, given that the Virgo energy points to the groups you associate with, it could just be that for some reason you might be feeling less than, right? So, okay, let's just do another weird example, but it'll give a little bit more insight into the energy I'm feeling here. So let's say you suddenly got this new job, right? And it's a really high paying job. And the people in your work environment have been doing it for a long time, right? But you're new to it. So you might feel quote unquote less than, right? So you're like, okay. So now that you're moving in that new group, right? They might, oh, let's do this, that, and the other, right? And it could be these expensive habits that they might have. And you might be like, okay, even if I am kind of moving into that income bracket right now, it's not normally my thing, right? You could still be adjusting to, is that really a good fit for me, right? Or even if this is a one-to-one relationship you're in, maybe you might feel like the person you're with, right, is bringing more to the table than you. And of course, we know you wouldn't like that feeling necessarily, right? So that could be part of what's at play for you too, where you feel like, oh, am I really giving as much to the connection as the other person, right? Given that we see the justice energy in the foundation, like I said, it looks like you really are coming from a good place with these thoughts, but they just might be a little misplaced as far as, you might not be seeing yourself as clearly as you're seeing others right now, which is rare to say for a Scorpio, right? All right, in the hopes or fears position, we have the Fool. So yeah, I feel like this is saying that actually for some of you this could be a fear, right? So like I said, even if you're in this new group and you're fully belonging there, there could be a little bit of fear around embracing that, right? Because maybe you're just thinking about your past where those new possibilities that might be opening up for you, maybe they weren't always available to you in the past. So you might feel like, oh, how long is this really going to last, right? So you could have a doubt that it's going to be a permanent fixture in your life. So be one of those types of situations. All right, and in the outcome position, we have the Four of Swords. So more Libra energy here, which for you guys is 12th house. I don't remember if we mentioned it with the Justice card or not. But yeah, I feel like this is saying, if nothing else, I feel like you're going to do some healing around that, right? And maybe come to the realization that, okay, a lot of this is more of a mental thing for you. Like, okay, if you feel like you don't belong in some way, right? I feel like this is saying you're going to be shedding that belief. And it's coming to grips with what might have brought those thoughts to the surface for you to begin with, right? And actually processing it and putting it behind you, which makes sense. I mean, the full moon eclipse in your sign that we're going to have is actually the last one that we'll see in your sign for, well, I mean, the nodes would be in the opposite position, but let's say you guys have the north node in your sign next, and that would be like 9.5 years or so from now. So it's going to be a long time until we have another eclipse in your sign. So yeah, it could just be saying that this was just a cycle that you guys had to put behind you. And speaking of the number of years, right? Maybe it's been a cycle that's gone on for 9 to 10 years for some of you, and now you're finally putting it behind you. All right, bottom of the deck, we have the Ace of Swords. So yeah, for a lot of you, I feel like this is going to be one of those things where it just clicks for you randomly, you know. So we mentioned the energies at play that could bring it out, but it just might be one of those things that might have been bothering you for so long, and then just like that, it seems to dissipate, right? You get that sudden insight. You might actually ask yourself how you didn't figure that out sooner as well, right? But like we said, energetically, it makes sense if that's how it pops up for you guys. So seems like a bit of heavier reading than the ones I've done so far, but it kind of makes sense as far as obviously, like we said, full moon eclipse in your sign, last one in your sign at that. So makes sense if all these things are coming up. But yeah, like I said, I feel like it's going to be a temporary thing for most of you. All right, moving on to your Four Agreements card, we have always do your best. And it says take your life and enjoy it. Okay, it says you are alive, so take your life and enjoy it. You were born with the right to be happy, to love, and to share your love. Just to be, to take a risk and enjoy your life is all that matters. So yeah, definitely a positive message there for sure, right? Maybe a little bit easier said than done, given some of the feelings that I said that you might be feeling coming up to the surface, but obviously a pretty positive message there. Makes me think of the Sun card as well. All right, and moving on to your Wisdom Oracle card, we have Happy Happy. There's the artwork there, and the number's 26, so we'll read that next. Okay, essential meanings says joy and contentment, a sense of fulfillment, a feeling that all is well. The Oracle's message, your desires are effortlessly fulfilled now. Find joy in the present moment, whatever is happening, and be satisfied with things as they are. You're free from the shackles of longing and able to experience the liberation that comes from actually being happy moment to moment, for you have chosen happiness over yearning for it. Now is the time for feeling joy for the sake of joy and experiencing contentment. None of this is because of something outside yourself. Your happiness is a result of your being at one with Spirit's plan for your life. All is well. The tide is in for now. Enjoy playfully splashing in it. So yeah, again, like I said, definitely a pretty positive, supportive message there. Like I said, even if you're not feeling that way quite yet, seeing that Four Swords and the outcome shows, man, you will get there, probably maybe after the eclipse energy passes. All right, the relationship message says there are moments in a relationship when you just feel good about whom you're with, and you know that your heart is wide open to befriend, to love, and to care for another without wanting anything in return. This is the kind of happy that you just want to share. The appearance of this card in the reading tells you that joy and contentment are here now, not somewhere else or off in the future. The grass is greenest right where you stand. Be grateful and delight in your relationship, and if you're seeking one, be happy now. Happiness attracts more of itself like bees to honey. So yeah, again, pretty positive message there too. And like we said, you're gonna have plenty of energy in your relationship house throughout May, so it could be a time to look at those things too. All right, and the prosperity message says this is a time to take pride in your accomplishments. You're doing good work, providing exceptional service, and are well compensated for it. The world rains gratitude upon you, and you're happy with the results of your efforts and creativity. Isn't it amazing to consider all that you've done? Remember your partnership with Spirit in this moment too. Your soul has always known you could accomplish anything if it brought you joy. So yeah, again, definitely a pretty positive message there too. Because like I said, for some of you there could be that feeling where maybe you're in this new group, right? Where you're elevated in some way, but it could just feel like such a big elevation that you might have a little bit of doubt around, do I really belong here or not, right? And to me that message says you definitely do. So hopefully that resonated. All right, and lastly, we have a mudra for you guys. So this is your mudra here. It's the Adhomukha mudra, and the keyword for it is preparation. All right, let's get that to focus. Okay, There we go. So under benefits, it says activates Manipura chakra, strengthens digestive fire, increases transformative and self-healing powers, reduces toxicity, readies the mind for meditation, prayer, or recitation of mantras. So if that sounds like a mudra you think you'd be interested in, I'll put the name in the description. But as always, we'll wrap up there, and I'll see you guys next month. All right, bye.